time. and a bit more direction, so it's good.
Everyone, it is time to call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Brighton City Council. The date is January 27th, 2026. The time is now 6:30 p.m. Would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Clerk Brown, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Albert?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bone?
Here.
Councilmember Gardner?
Here.
Councilmember Gibson?
Here.
Councilmember Pettingill?
Here.
Mayor Toby?
Here.
Councilmember Schmake?
Here.
Thank you.
A quorum is present. Item number 4 on tonight's agenda is to consider approval of tonight's agenda. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda as published.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by Councilmember Pettingill. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none. The motion passes. We have an agenda. Item number 5 on tonight's agenda is to consider approval of the consent agenda items. On tonight's consent agenda, we have one item, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of January 13th, 2026. Would anyone like to make a motion on tonight's consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda items as read.
Motion made by Councilmember Schmake. Does it have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Albert. Any discussion on the motion on the consent agenda item? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none. The motion passes. The next section on tonight's agenda is under correspondences. Item number 6 is council member updates. We'll start on the far side with Councilmember Schmake.
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Pettingill.
I just want to give a shout out to the Scouts of Troop 350. We've had several calls about snow removal, and within 15 minutes, I've got guys responding to that. So anyone out there needs help with their snow removal, or if you know a neighbor that needs help, please reach out to us. We've got lots of boys and lots of dads that are ready to help.
Super job to the Scout Troop. Please give them our very best and thank yous for all of our residents.
Will do. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Nothing this evening.
Councilmember Gardner.
Nothing this
Councilmember Albert.
Nothing this evening.
Nothing from the Veterans Memorial Committee, but we want to piggyback on Councilmember Pettingill's kudos on snow removal for our DPS crew. Director Gotch, I'm sure it's been quite the week and a half, quite the year. So just huge thank you to you and your staff and just the outstanding job that they've done. I know we touched on it briefly at the retreat as far as, the salt shortages and everything like that. But, I'm sure early mornings, late nights, long days. Thank you. And we're only halfway through the year. So keep it up. Give the team our best and thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Gibson.
The DDA met last Tuesday, January 20th. I was unable to be there. There was an election of the board. They retained the same board as last year. They did a good job last year. I'm sure they'll do another good job this year. Another topic that was discussed is the summer concert series. That's going to be put on by Two Stones. It's my understanding that the kickoff is June 18th, and that'll be in June, July, and August. That'll be on Thursday nights, and they'll do some acoustics, I believe, on the Saturdays. That's it.
Excellent. From my seat as the mayor here, I'd like to toss an idea out there to council that I've been thinking about. Over the past couple of years, we have had a lot of residents and businesses express comments, concerns, and thoughts about parking in the downtown. We've talked about it from the council's perspective and from the staff's perspective. The idea came to me about starting a task force consisting of a couple members of council, a couple members of the DDA, and a couple members of the merchant groups and maybe a citizen or two. Just kind of tossing this out there as a group that can start to potentially look at parking technologies, parking solutions. We've got a parking study that's been done by the DDA that's a couple years old now. Not saying we should refresh and pay for another study, but just something that can be a collective group of people that are involved here in the city of Brighton to take a look at it. I'm hoping to put this on a future agenda, but just kind of wanted to launch it out there for council as an idea of having a task force to take a look at this. So, any thoughts on the topic right off hand?
I agree. Good thoughts. I would, yeah, I agree.
Manager Gamolka, would you mind putting that on a future agenda as we can squeeze that in and take a look at that?
Yes, you've got it.
Okay. We'll want to come up with a charge with specifics for that group. So, all right. With that, we'll move on to item number 7, and that is staff updates. Manager Gamolka.
Thank you, Mayor Toby. Clerk Fromm?
Nothing new to report, thank you.
Thank you. Chief Proctor?
Thank you, Manager Gomolka. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do have a couple updates. First, we've been busy at the police department. Deputy Chief Flood announced his retirement December 19th. With that, we've been in battle mode that his last day will be February 27th. So we've been in the process of going through the interview selection of 2 great candidates from the internal candidates from the PD, and we've made our selection. Our selection is going to be Sergeant Chris Parks. He'll be promoted February 24th, hopefully at the next city council meeting. As well as with that, we have been diligently working. We have 3 outstanding candidates for the replacement sergeant, and they'll be going through their oral boards on this Thursday. And once I have those tallies and scores and can look at all that information, we'll be making our selection to who will replace Sergeant Chris Parks once he gets promoted. The second is more of a PSA. As we've had this cold weather, please, please, please be mindful of the roads in the cold. When I'm on my way to work, I passed 11 accidents on 23. Please slow down, drive safely. And if you do find yourself stranded, please make sure you have the proper stuff in your vehicle: towels, blankets, salt, sand, something to help you get out and stay warm if you find yourself stranded until first responders can get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Proctor. Community Development Manager Crusoe shaking his head no. Director Gotch?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Just a couple quick things. With the weather, thanks. We've been working with Chief and PD. With the roads, you might have noticed we're approaching things a little bit different. There has been a regional salt shortage pretty much for everyone. So we're changing how we're doing things a little bit. We work with them, we work with our staff to be careful on different areas that we're salting, our majors, especially hills and things like that for the bus garage and those areas. It's working out. As of right now, we're still using just salt. We're limited on how much we can get at one time. So luckily we're trying to stay ahead of it. We do have a salt barn. A lot of people do not have that option, which is really nice for us. You may see some sand come out sooner or later, sand and salt mixture, depending on how tight salt gets. But it's kind of early yet. It's not quite February. And this is not an issue that any one particular municipality is begun. It was basically they're having trouble at the mines for some reason. So we'll keep you posted. Please be careful. Be mindful of the speed, and if you have areas that you are very concerned about, please reach out to us or PD, and we'll try to address them properly. But the guys are working hard to watch where they're spreading, how much they're spreading. We take a lot of time in calibrating trucks, knowing exactly how many tons we put out per mile. All of our trucks are digitized and electronic, so we know exactly what is going on out there. So appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Marcel, I noticed today I had the opportunity to follow a road commission truck. They're already mixing sand and salt on the non-main arterial roads, it looks like.
Yep.
Additionally, as a word of safety for drivers that are out there on the roads, when we're starting to see these mixes of sand and salt, it seems like the stopping distances need to be greater, that people need to have perhaps?
Actually, when you're mixing the sand, it's actually it's really good for traction, depending on what kind of snow or ice we're having. The hard pack, this cold has been great for that purpose. It doesn't get very slick underneath it. Not cold, good for anything else. But as it starts getting warm spots here and there, it does get a little bit more slippery when we're out there out and about. So they use a lot of sand. The state's been using it too. They do a mixture, and I've already talked to Steve up there at the county. We're kind of on the same page. So, and they're really good about even helping us if we get in a bind. If they've got salt available, they're willing to help us out. They supply other municipalities though right from their barn. So we're kind of lucky to have our own barn set up, but even when we get thin, I may be able to reach out to them and get some help. But we'll work on that. But we just want to be ahead of the game. That's why we've been working with PD, and we're going to put out a notice on My Brighton and the Book of Faces there, and just let everybody know here this is what's going on out there. So if you have an issue, please call us, and we'll try to address it at that time.
Great. Again, thank you, and great interdepartmental cooperation and interlocal cooperation as well. Councilmember Gardner?
I have a question. I don't know if this is a good question or a good thought, but I know right now you're leaving a little bit of snow on the roads rather than trying to take them all the way down, and so there's a little traction.
No, it's not intentional. We just can't.
Oh,
We
can't.
won't throw the blade down. We also don't want to wear out the blades either. So depending on how much we have down, we'll put the blades down and skim what we can. We'd like to have a little bit more down. And right now, with as cold as it is, we actually get better traction when the snow is cold and fluffy. If it starts getting wet, then we'll send the trucks back out and try to blow the slush off the road. So we're always keeping an eye on it, depending where it's at, especially on majors. Even on the locals, we try to take care of theirs too. But our staff knows that, okay, hey, we're getting some snow. Like today was on and off all day. It was back and forth. And we were careful. We did put some salt out, but we also want to be cognizant of rush hour, depending what time, we're downtown, those areas like that too, that we don't want to create a problem somewhere by not doing something. So like I said, we work close with PD. They let us know if they got a bad area, and our guys are pretty sharp about knowing what areas they need to hit too. So
Well, I noticed all the communities around us, the townships, are kind of doing the same. I mean, sometimes you can tell when you leave or enter, city or township, but it's kind of all the same right now. But by leaving that little bit of snow down, like if we did that as a practice, does that help preserve like line and lane markings and crosswalk markings and things like that? Does it help, or?
I don't really think so. I think everyone's kind of used to knowing where they have to be. I'm more concerned about making sure we get them plowed out all the way, and then that way we're leaving enough room for everyone to be on the road. Whether they're parking on the road or whether there's two lanes. I don't want to force people to be too tight. That way we can avoid any of those issues right there. So we will not stop plowing. We'll make sure we at least get out there and plow. It's just when we're going to apply salt. And again, if we decide we're going to do the salt and sand thing, it's going to be a mixture. So probably at a minimum 10% salt and probably up to more like 25%, 25%. So.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. I just have a couple things I want to let all of City Council know and everyone in the public and watching at home. Our next meeting on February 10th, we will have representatives from MDOT in attendance to talk about the upcoming continued work on the I-96 interchange. I believe they're anticipating starting some light work in March, weather dependent. But they're going to talk about what the plan strategically looks like for the last year of construction for the I-96 interchange. And then also just wanted to let everybody know, if you didn't know already, City of Howell did appoint their new manager, Christy Troy, who had been interim. She was formerly in their community development as the planning and zoning administrator. So I've had a lunch with her. I'm going to see her upcoming next week as well, just to continue, building relationships with our neighboring communities.
Please give her our congratulations.
I shall. Yeah. And that's all we have.
Very good. All right, we'll move on to the next section of tonight's agenda. Item number 8 is a call to the public. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak? Anyone in the public that wishes to speak? Third and final call. Anyone in the public that wishes to speak? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on from call to the public and into the new business section of tonight's agenda. Item number 9 is to consider approval of the Hubble, Roth, and Clark proposal to perform design and construction phase engineering services for the Wood Lake Neighborhood Rehabilitation Project for the streets in an amount not to exceed $571,380 with the necessary budget amendments. DPS Director Marcel Gosh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So in the last couple months, I think everyone's familiar with the discussions we've had after the millage or even during the millage at the open houses about what streets that we would work on. Woodridge Hills was, or I should say Wood Lake wound up being a very popular one. The residents over there came out in force there to talk about the condition of the road, and it's definitely a road that needs to be dealt with. Obviously, there were a lot of different roads we talked about on this past Saturday at the retreat, and this one still came up on at the retreat as well. I kind of had this in the chute waiting to bring it to the meeting. As this was kind of leaning, I had the feeling with talking with Manager Gamolka that this was something we're going to move forward on for next year. So we'd like to get the engineering done now. We can't do it this year because it's just too much to try to do by the time they get their geographical information and their subsoil information back. This way we can take our time, do it this year, and do it, actually, the construction the spring of 27 would be the goal. So it's here for you tonight to take a look at. Really, for consideration, we'd like to get moving on it. And this way we know it's in the chute, and they'll do the design work, and construction will be next year. So if there's any questions, I know we talked a lot about it. It may seem kind of fast. So if there's any questions, please ask me, and I'll answer what I can.
By next year, do you mean the calendar year 2027 or the city budgetary calendar?
No, calendar year, I'm sorry. So it would take this year. Let's get through this season. I have some other things coming to you with 7th Street we know is getting designed. You will see 2 more proposals coming next meeting for some other roads that we've discussed and that I'm going to push forward to get done this season, I should say, this spring and summer of 26. And then this project would be going spring and summer of 27.
Great. Thank you for the clarification. Other questions from council? Mayor Pro Tem?
I have a question. I'm looking at the letter from Hubble, Roth, and Clark, and under the section of understanding of project, second paragraph, midway through, it says the new roadway cross section will be 4 inches of hot mixed asphalt on 8 inches of 21 AA aggregate. I believe it came up in Saturday's retreat where you had talked about various asphalt mixes.
Mhm.
And I'm curious on 2 fronts. What is actually being planned in terms of the mix for this project?
Good question. So right now, our design standards call for a Marshall mix, a 36A and a 13A, 13A base with 36 top coat. And that's kind of a standard mix. We've been using a super pave for the last couple of years. The plants are making more of it for a lot of the expressway work, a lot of the main road, and we can get it. So one of the things you're also going to be seeing from DPS is an update of design standards, because we allow that mix now because it's not in our design standards. So usually they bring it to us, a contractor does, or the engineer does, say, hey, you want to go with the super pave. It's a heavier, I guess it's a bonier, more rocky base and top coat, but it's designed more for heavy loads and heavy weight. So it takes the load better than the Marshall mixes do. So that's the whole point, that it's going to be 4 inches. That's why there's 8 inches of 21 AA underneath it also. So it's just a different design standard, and we'll couple that with fiberglass asphalt or fiberglass mix as well. And we've had good luck with that so far. And when we're done, we're planning on reclimating the whole neighborhood also.
And part of the reason I asked that is, if we're going to be investing, in this case, quite a bit of money for that neighborhood, regardless, I mean, it could be any street in the city, putting down material that's going to be more durable and has a longer chance of lasting, and holding up. I personally, I think that's makes sense to spend a little more money up front to get a better material laid down than just going with a base standard and then not having it last as long as it could or should.
I totally agree, and we've done that for the last maybe 4 projects now. We went with a 5E and a 4E mix that is a super pave, and it is just heavier. It's a heavier mix designed for this kind of road work. Even that being a neighborhood, we're going to design it with that 4E, 5E mix. So it should last longer, and that's the whole point of using the fiberglass as well. So that's the goal, is just to get, it's been a long time that they've had this road in there. We'd like it to be a long time before we have to do anything else in there also.
Then one other curious question, say like Brighton Lake Road or Brighton Road. Both are relatively high traffic. Just curious, how thick is the asphalt on those roads?
That was 6 inches, I think, is what, when we had the engineering done on those. I have to go back, but I'm pretty sure there was 6 inches with 8 inches of base underneath those. And with that, with Brighton Lake Road, they did their engineering knowing that 2 inches was going to be acceptable on that. And that was in 2024. I had them give me numbers for 2027 when it comes. That's actually next summer.
Yep.
If the road stays the same after this year, we're going to do a 2-inch lift on it, not a full replacement. A full replacement came out to like 2.4 million to do everything. They updated the numbers for Flint. Flint will be a full depth replacement. That's 6 inches over there too. And there are spots that are deeper, and asphalt goes down. It's kind of funny how it goes down when they're putting it down back in the day. They used to fill voids with asphalt. Nowadays, they're much closer with the grade and the stone than they are with the asphalt. So they want the stone closer. That way you're not using more asphalt. So it's cheaper for the stone than it is for the asphalt. But we found areas in Alpine that were 8, 12 inches thick in some areas. And then some areas we went down 4 inches and found it was right down to the gravel. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Pettingill.
Director Gotch, as far as the mix of this, the 8 inches, 21 AA, is that the same as what's in the Northwest neighborhood? And to think about it, right? I'm just going with the salt, right? How will this hold up to the salt? Because I noticed in the Northwest there's a lot of pitting from the salt.
That's not really from the salt.
It's not, okay.
No, that's more about the asphalt. And even so, it depends on the mix. The mix is a heavier mix, so it's not as smooth like a parking lot mix.
Okay.
But a parking lot mix means you've got more sand and tar in it.
Okay.
So, but it's not as strong then. So you're having a trade-off right there. It's a bit more porous, but then you're not getting the strength out of it, because what you're doing is you're driving on that sand and that mixture. So you got to find that happy medium in there. So roughly, yeah, I think it is. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head if it was 2 layers or we did 2 passes on Northwest neighborhoods, base coat and then top coat. I think it was two coats at 4 inches thick. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Top of my
not
head
from the
again.
salt. It's from the actual mixture, and that's what
Yeah.
it's supposed to be.
Yeah, the salt won't eat it up.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Other questions from council? Hearing none, would anyone like to make a motion?
Or I'll make a motion. I can find it. There we go. I'd like to make a motion to approve Hubble Roth and Clark's proposal to perform design and construction phase engineering services for the Wood Lake Neighborhood Rehabilitation Project in an amount not to exceed $571,380 with necessary budget amendments in the street millage and local street funds.
Second.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Schmenk. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 10 is to consider approval of the 21 civic event applications for 2026. Assistant to the DPS Director, Ms. Patty Thomas.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Ms. Thomas. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, it's a pleasure being here. I love it. So this should be, I would think it was going to be relatively easy tonight and this year. We received 21 applications. All of them except one are previous events. There's a new walk. There's an organization called Malachi's House of Hope, and they're going to be doing a 2-mile walk for heterotaxia awareness. And I have to say, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it's a birth defect that people can be born with. So that's the newest event. Main Street Mile and Farmers Market used to be held in July, but they moved it to June. Destination Stars Hollow and Ruck to Live are switching weekends. They one works out better for the other, and it worked out perfect. So they both agreed to switch their weekends from what they've had previously. So the committee did not have any issues with any of the applications. That's fire department, police, DPS.
Council, questions? Councilmember Gardner.
Do you expect any additional events to be submitted?
I do. I believe that the Pound has one that he picked up the other day. And I have not seen, well, Alzheimer's, they haven't been back after the 2023 Streetscape, so I'm not sure about them. But that's the only one I anticipate coming that I haven't seen.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions?
Sure.
Councilmember Schmank and then
my
Mayor
bad.
Pro Tem.
No, I just wanted to thank everybody involved in organizing the events. It was a great year last year for all of them, and went off very well. And just to let you know on your comment about the I'm going to get this wrong, the heteroxy awareness, I had to look that one up too. That's organs in the body don't develop or are missing. So
Oh, okay.
it's a good thing to raise money for. But again, thanks everybody for taking the time to put the events on.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I guess my question or concern would be with the Destination Stars Hollow. It's probably, yeah. I'm just wondering if that event is maybe too big for our downtown and for our city, plus going on for 2.5 days.
So the Friday night portion of it is pretty much a VIP, so it's not open. I mean, people do come down.
Not
but
open to the public, so people lose the ability to take advantage of downtown.
Anybody can go downtown. So the event portion of it though is limited to a certain amount of people. On Friday night, it's smaller, but from my understanding, last year it was run very well compared to the year before. We had a lot of conversations with the applicant. The applicant met every request that we made. I don't know if maybe Chief wants to speak to that. I did not hear from our staff that there was issues with it. The fact that it's 2 days, we have other events that are 2 days. The art fair starts on Friday and it goes till Sunday afternoon. So we do have other events that last 2 or more days.
That would be true, but I don't think the art fair draws the number of people that this civic event does.
No, I think you're right. I don't know, Chief, did you want to say anything about the event?
I want to make sure you ask your question first before I answer. I heard the conversation. I just want to make sure as far as the event went, it was definitely smoother than the previous year. In working with the event sponsors from London Beauty, they definitely listened to our suggestions moving into last year's event. And you saw streamlined lines for places. Partnering with the fire department, we definitely had head counts and body counts for occupancy within the buildings. Our biggest thing is that volume of people, and we explain this to the event organizers, is your event can run very smooth without a hiccup at all. But what we as law enforcement do is we protect against the unknown, and having that visible presence down there to protect somebody who wants to do nefarious acts toward these people that go to these events. So we've talked through that and we've worked that out, and they've been very supportive of whatever we need. We're going to do to make that happen and be as safe as possible for them as we can in our public.
Yeah, this is just me. I'm just concerned about the number of people, and maybe the event is too big for our downtown. That's just me.
Manager Kamolka and then
So I can address it just from my time this past year attending the event. So after work on the Friday evening, Clerk Brown and I walked around downtown Friday, and it was busy, but not busier than a ladies' night. And we didn't have the VIP passes, but we were able to go into the stores and do normal shopping like anybody could. It wasn't restricted from that point of view. And then I was not there Saturday, which my understanding was the busy day. But my daughter came into town, she wanted to go, and so we went Sunday, and it was so much slower. Like most people came in that Saturday. I mean, we walked into every store without having to wait hardly in line at all. So it did seem like it helped spread the crowds a little bit on the Saturday to have some people come on Sunday, but Sunday was pretty light, as was Friday. And I think Chief, you might be able to address that as well.
Yeah, we noticed a rhythm, and I think if I remember correctly, it was raining on and off throughout the day, so that might have impacted some of the crowd as well. But yeah, Friday was definitely lighter than Saturday, and as we went through the day and got the push, that's when we noticed a large volume of people. And then Sunday, flipped that. In the morning, it was steady. In the afternoon, it kind of trickled off toward the end of the event. And again, back to the whole safety statement is that's the unique beast about Livingston County is we work hand in hand with our partners in law enforcement. So we reach out to those people as well to help augment our force as we would them in their need for their big events as well. So
The concert, remember the concert was that weekend too.
Councilmember
And it worked
Pettengill?
out.
Ms. Thomas, in the past, we've received in our packet pay structures from the previous year. Is that like how much was spent on police, DPW, all of those things, the breakdown? Because now we're charging up to 50%. Do you remember doing that?
I don't remember providing how much we charged for the events, no. I
have
think
it
the
in my
old
packet.
policy listed the,
It was even broken down to like electrical, trash bags, everything.
so that was in the policy that we just redid. We took that out. Those were examples of what the cost could be based on the size of the event. But since now, and that was talking about the tiered, 1/3 of 50%, 2/3. So that's basically done. It's 50% now and going forward. So that part was removed from the policy because everything is 50% now.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do believe I recall it as well. I think we had at 1 year, maybe it was in a spreadsheet that didn't come in the packet, but it was provided that showed what they paid the last year.
No,
So
I
you can
don't.
compare like what Taste of Brighton paid for compared to like Smokin' Jazz and Blues, what it was to us, what our cost was.
And maybe that was through Civic Event Committee. You saw that? No,
No, I
okay.
have it in
I do
my-
recall seeing that at one point as well, and we can provide that at any point too if you
Right,
want.
and I just have one more question. Out of all of the events that are on here, how many of those are for profit?
2.
What are those?
Cinco de Mayo
Mhm.
and Stars Hollow.
Thank you.
Other questions from council? Hearing none, would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 21 civic event applications for 2026.
Motion made by Councilmember Schmenk.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Gardner. Any discussion on the motion?
Just a comment. Ms. Thomas, once I know the city, we usually publish the actual, approved list of events on the city website and we push them out. I know the DDA concerts aren't technically considered a civic event, but would it be possible to include those on the sheet just so people have them in one centralized location, just so they're aware of, all right, concerts are on Thursdays and music on Saturdays, just so the awareness is there.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any further comments?
Thank you for that.
Questions?
That's a great idea.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
aye.
1. The ayes have it. The motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Thank you, everyone, for the civic event applications. We look forward to another successful year on the streets of Brighton. The next section on tonight's agenda is closed session, and item number 11 is to consider entering into a closed session to receive a written attorney-client privilege communication pursuant to the Michigan Open Meetings Act of 1976, Section 15.268, subsection 1H of the Michigan compiled laws. Would anyone like to make a motion on that?
So moved.
I'll make a motion to enter into closed session, receive a written attorney-client privilege communication pursuant to MCL 15.26H1H, and for our city attorney to attend via phone.
Motion made by Councilmember
Second.
Gibson, supported by Councilmember Gardner. Any discussion on the motion to enter into closed session? Hearing none, Clerk Brown, can you please call the
Mayor Pro Tem Bone,
Yes.
Councilmember Gardner,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Pettingill,
Yes.
Mayor Toby,
Yes.
Councilmember Schmank,
Yes.
Councilmember Albert. Yes. Thank you.
The ayes have it, folks. We'll be entering into closed session.